Hi Tribe, this is Rena with InsideJobHealing.com, coming to you from beautiful sunny Indianapolis with your empath energy update for this week. So there are three camps going on right now. There are people that are ramping way up because they're in a position where they can work from home and work virtually and help their clients, get through these times. So there are some people that are freaking out and just kind of scrambling for any kind of coaching, sales, or marketing tactics. So there are folks that are actually working longer and harder than they were before. Okay, and so those folks haven't had a chance to really experience the pandemic slowdown effects. Now, in the second camp, there are people that actually, unfortunately, cannot work at all. They're either hairdressers or people that can't, cut hair on Zoom. So, unfortunately for them, they're in a situation where they're not working at all. And so they are fully experiencing the slowdown, and they're almost, I would say, in this position of the unknown, feeling a little bit lost. And so that's the second camp of people, is that the slowdown has hit them really, really hard. And now they're starting to worry. They're starting to worry about money and the financial situation because it's been over 3 weeks and, there isn't money coming in for them. And so it's a scary time. So that's the second camp that is experiencing the pandemic. And the third camp are people like myself who are light workers, and healers, and those that are here to raise the consciousness of the planet. And we've been training for this for a very, very long time. So of course we're sad that people are dying, and that unfortunately people are experiencing restriction in their homes and again losing their livelihoods and stuff like that. But this is what we've been training for, is to help people get through this time and to help us build New Earth together. So for those of us that are in that camp, we're really coming into our gifts. We're embracing technology and Zoom, and we're embracing spreading the word, doing videos like this, things like that, being of service, contributing, and helping others, and just really feeling like we're done with all the karmic cycles, we're done with the karmic debts, and we're really ready to dive into our mission on New Earth. So which camp do you belong in? Okay, I'm just curious. Feel free to DM me or write in the comments below how you're feeling at this time and what's going on. And so some of the themes that have come up this week with all that's going on is a theme of impatience. A lot of us are starting to get impatient because the ego likes control, it likes timelines. I've even had a client say last week to me, hey, I'm really hoping that my kids will be back to school on April 1st. And I just laughed and I said, well, good luck with that. Let's see how that works for you. And the reason I laughed is because really we have no idea when things are going to get back to the new normal, right? And so a lot of us are kind of struggling with not knowing what that is and having to homeschool our kids while we work and things like that. And so that's presenting a challenge in itself, as I mentioned in earlier videos of, again, not feeling like you're a good mom or things like that. These are some insecurities and energies and fears that are coming up from the past that are, past worries that are coming to the surface. So definitely there's this energy of impatience, lack of control, that's still coming up for a lot of people, even though the universe has been giving the smackdown for a while now, and just teaching us that control is an illusion. A lot of us still want to control people's behavior in our life, or we still have expectations, right? And so I'm just letting you right now know, guys, just let go of control, let go of expectations. It's really, really harmful at this time, and it's not going to serve you, and it's just going to produce suffering. There's pain in the world, but suffering is optional. So I'm really inviting you to kind of let go of these things that trigger you and really cause a lot of suffering in your life, because we cannot control other people's behaviors, and our expectations will only, end up in suffering and disappointment. So that's another theme that we're working with, definitely, is control, and definitely impatience. Something I want to invite you to do is really to get comfortable with the discomfort, right? So, right now, there's a lot of things that are uncomfortable, that we're experiencing. A lot of people are saying, well, you know, this whole working out at home is not really working out for me, so I'm not getting as much exercise, right, as I'm used to, and so I'm feeling more lethargic and less motivated. I've heard that a lot, is that people are feeling like not as motivated. And so what I encourage you to do is what I've been doing, which is I went for this beautiful walk with my dog today on the Monon Trail, this outdoor trail here in Indy, and it was glorious. And so really connecting with nature, even though we're not on the streets, we're not driving, we're not going into businesses and things like that, we're not getting that social interaction, we're not, you know, life is definitely not normal. I mean, when I was at Target, there was big signs saying, stop if you have any symptoms, do not enter, you know, stay 6 feet away. That was like blaring on the speakers from everybody. Definitely feels very, very strange right now to even go into the stores to get your essentials. I mean, I was in Trader Joe's the other week, and they were only letting 50 people in the building at the same time, and literally like one person in, one person out. And you couldn't even bring your own bags. You had to use theirs. So unless you wanted to bag your own groceries. So there's just a lot of things that are going on that are, again, completely outside of our comfort zone. Again, luckily the stores are still open and we can get sustenance and get, you know, and shop for things. But again, this is anything but normal, right? So to my point about getting comfortable in the discomfort, you know, it's just, again, like, you know, whenever it arises, just using the breath to process it, doing 3-part breathing or, you know, alternate nostril breathing, which is a yogic pranayama technique. Just kind of different things in your toolbox of how to manage anxiety, which really all anxiety is when we get into a future state and start worrying about the future and the unknown, we start panicking, we get anxious, and it triggers our fears. So if we don't go there, if we don't think about the future, because really the unknown is the unknown, we have no clue what's going to happen. And if we stay present in our bodies through the breath, like I said, through yogic movements, whatever tools that you have at your disposal to stay present, to connect with nature, to ground, and just to be, you know, grateful for the present moment, that's the best thing you can do. Because ultimately we don't know what the future holds. So it's really important to stay present when you're feeling uncomfortable. Okay. Something else that has come up, I feel like for a lot of us, is there is this underlying feeling of not feeling satisfied, right? And craving, and there's this lack, and almost like we're, you know, that hunger is insatiable, right? Like, it's just like, okay, you know, instead of looking at our fridge and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for all this abundance because my fridge is full, we're thinking, oh man, I'm really craving some popcorn right now. And I don't have any, and I need to go to the store. And so it's like we have these addictions, we have these cravings, right? And it's like, you know, we just find ourselves in this cycle of just not really being grateful or accepting of what is, but just kind of always feeling like it's not enough. And so this is really a good time to kind of address that. Any areas in your life where you feel dissatisfied, where you have craving, where you feel insatiable, and, you know, and just not satisfied with what you have, it's a really good time. Like right now we can't shop, we can't buy new things. And so it's really important to be grateful for the clothes you do have, for the material things that you do have, and the fact that you are safe and hunkered down in your home with hopefully plenty of food. So that's really important too. You know, I have to say, I feel like gratitude is huge, because when you start each day with gratitude, right, it creates this energy funnel, right, that just attracts things to you and opportunities to you, and it helps with the manifestation. And it just, in generally, you start your day on such a high vibing place when you come from a place of gratitude, instead of being like, I can't go to the gym, I can't, go to the mall, or I can't hang out with my friends, or I can't go to parties, or can't go, to the club, or all these things that we're not allowed to do and restricted to do right now. Instead of focusing on the things that we can't do, I really invite you on focusing on the things that you can do. And it's all about mindset, and it's all about having a positive attitude. And using this time wisely. Obviously, for those of you that are ramped up and are doing triple the work, unfortunately, you don't have that time or spaciousness to actually do that inner work, to study, to read, to take some classes, to do some self-growth. So hopefully for you guys, things will slow down a little bit, because your worth is not based on how much you produce. Your worth is not based on your job. Your worth is not based on your job title, how much money you make. You don't have to prove yourself. I feel like a lot of people are throwing themselves into work because, again, they're just like trying to prove that, hey, just because I'm working from home, I'm not slacking off, right? I'm like triple producing, right? And so I think that's really, really an important download, is especially in these times that the paradigm is shifting. The old systems are falling. There's new systems that are coming in their place, right? And so we have to, it's like Kali energy, right? We have to destroy in order to create. So we have to destroy the old in order to create the new. And so for us to do that, we have to really it's a whole paradigm shift. And we just have to stop identifying with, this is my job title, this is how much I make, this is what I contribute, this is how much value I bring to society. We need to leave that behind. You don't know how many women, when I ask them, well, what do you do? They're like, oh, I'm just a mom. You're not just a mom. I feel like being a mother is one of the most important and challenging jobs on the planet, and it happens to be unpaid. So again, I really encourage you to reframe and to not be attached to these external titles or money or job description, because a lot of us are thinking about pivoting right now. So a lot of people that are having time, like the second category that I spoke of, the people that are starting to realize, my livelihood is linked to seeing people live, and I haven't leveraged my abilities technology-wise, or I haven't created residual income streams and things like that. I'm sure those kind of people are thinking of innovative ways how they can pivot and shift their jobs in the future. And so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of innovation and really amazing things that have come out. I was just reading that Uber and Airbnb and Pinterest came out of the last recession in 2008. So it is definitely a time for creativity and innovation. And I cannot wait to see how the human spirit rises above and we connect with each other in these really challenging times. And really come together as a community. So I think it's really important for you guys to be utilizing that time, again, to kind of think outside the box and think, what could I be doing differently? And for those of us that are light workers and healers that have been waiting for this time for New Earth to really activate and to help others and be a bridge and raise consciousness and give our love and share our light, and really do the mission that we were born to do, this is such a great time for you guys to brainstorm and create different things. I'm creating virtual workshops and just working with a lot of wonderful women to collaborate on different projects, and reaching out to folks and, checking in with my tribe and making sure everybody is healthy and safe, checking in with my mom and any people at risk and elderly people that I know and love, and my son and my cousin in Canada, and just, making sure that everybody is healthy and safe, and, is taken care of. And so just kind of how can you serve at this time? How can you bring innovation? How can you bring creativity? How can you really best utilize this time instead of focusing on the negative and not constantly looking at the news stream and perhaps consuming, like I said before, really positive social media. There's a lot of people doing virtual summits. I mentioned the summit that my friend Rachel did last week, with staying calm in changing uncertain times. And there's lots of other ones going on Facebook. So just really make a point to connect in positive ways to each other and support each other and check in on each other and stay safe and stay healthy and use this time to your benefit. Sending you lots of love.